Initially, I was hoping to make this video and be like, oh my god, I got my invite. But unfortunately, we didn't come out with the invite, and that's a-okay because I learned a lot from these last two events, being that this was YCS LA and the Las Vegas Regionals. I did okay. We don't get to win them all, but that's okay because like I said, I learned a lot. And I had a lot of great matches, I met a lot of cool people, and I made some really good friends. So who's to say who's the real winner here? I want to get straight to my list and talk about the changes I made from YCS to the Las Vegas Regional, as well as what I will be changing in the future. For these two events, I chose to play, well, you guessed it from the title, Naturia Runick. Naturia Runick offers some great versatility in the entire meta, but it also allows you to, be kind of toxic. Your Runic side gives you so much advantage, while the Naturia engine allows you to make some really cool synchro plays, and from there on, you're pretty much controlling the game with cards like p.u.n.k. or Beast, or, like I said, your Runic cards. So let's jump right on in. In this profile, I will be showing you what I would like to change from this deck, as well as explaining some of the card choices and some of the things that made them good, some plays, things of that nature. So jumping right into this list, we are playing the most necessary Naturia besides the next one that I'm about to show, Mole Cricket. Mole Cricket not only allows you to make so many plays, it is a form of interruption on its own. It allows you to summon things like Camilla and Sunflower to your side of the field, which we are playing 3 Camilla and 1 Sunflower. It just allows you to make so many plays, synchro plays, things of that nature. Camilla is a free Foolish Burial for Naturia cards, so such as Sacred Tree, which Sacred Tree would then allow you to search a card. It could then search you a card such as Blessing, but going back to Sunflower here, Sunflower is one of the most important Naturias in the form of being able to summon it on your opponent's turn, because it is a monster negate and can be a 2-time monster negate even in the same chain link. But going into Naturia Blessing, the blessing of the deck, it allows you to summon a Naturia monster from your grave or hand non-targeting. So if they banish a Naturia from your graveyard, you're able to just summon one from your hand, or if you have multiple copies in your graveyard, you tend to not worry because you're able to summon one of them, so there's no target, and that target is gone. Sometimes you do use it for the synchro summon effect. There was a couple of times that maybe I was like a Rise Hearted or just like a board wipe that allowed me to just use my monsters to not be board wiped into maybe a Chain Ying or something where I could protect myself. But it allows you to make those plays. And lastly, for the last Naturia card, I am playing 4 copies of Sacred Tree. In the sense that I am also playing a Foolish Burial Goods. Foolish Burial Goods alone allows you to see basically the Mole Cricket or the Camilla or the Blessing that you need. So on its own, it is basically a 1-card combo, so it's really good to play. It came up for me a lot in this past weekend and the weekend before at YCS LA and the Vegas Regional. The card was extremely good. So I just don't see myself not playing it. Basically, this deck is full of, besides these 4 cards right here, Sunflower and 3 Blessings, they're all 1-card combos. Then I am playing 2 Kaijus. I'm playing 1 Gameciel and 1 Godarla. The reasoning behind the Godarla is if you give this to a caster or player, they can't beat over your beast, in the sense of if you gave them a Gameciel and they crashed, because this will leave them with a monster on the field. So now they can't make their Castiera plays unless they have a Birth, and then they can use Birth to summon a Castiera, then Rise Heart, then do the wonky stuff. But without other key cards, there's not much that they'll be able to do. I was also playing 2 Kurakara Divine Carnates. Oh god, that card's name is so hard to say. I just say Kurakara. This card is MVP. I stole a Chain Ying, I stole a Beast, I stole a Shangra Ira. I stole so many cards with this on my end phase that it won me so many games, it's not even funny. In the mirror match, I baited out the Beast effect and then I activated Kurakara and then continued to play. At the end phase, I took the Beast back and my opponent pretty much just shook my hand and was like, I can't get over my own Beast. That's how insane the card is. I don't think this card should be $30. I definitely think it should be more expensive because of how good it is. But that's maybe just a biased opinion. So then I played 2 Triple Tactics Talent. I will be and wish I had take this out of the deck. Every time I saw this card, I hated it. I hated it. I hated it. it did me nothing. Because most of the time the opponent would see a Karakara and then be like, oh, I don't want to activate a monster effect. And that means that I'm not really gaining anything from this card. A lot of times I would just pitch it for the cost of like p.u.n.k, so it just didn't do as much as I wanted it to. Being that this deck count is at 42, I take these out, it is now 40. Because I don't think there's much else I'm going to change from the main deck here, because it's such a strict and tight main deck that it's hard to, you know, have so many cards in it. For the Runic engine, I am playing 2 Fountain, 3 Tip, 3 Freezing Curses, 3 Flashing Fire, 3 Destruction, 3 Slumber, and then 1 Dispelling and 1 Smiting Storm. I would potentially play a second Smiting Storm with decks like Kashtira or Labyrinth, even Trap Tricks. They will have a ton of board presence, and if you're able to just, you know, combo this off with another card, you can banish some serious cards from their deck, but it also gives you another wasteful Runic, is what I like to say, because you're never generally using them for their main effects. You're going to use them to summon from the extra deck. That way you're not wasting the good ones. Sometimes there was hands that I just wanted to see a Runic, so I think upping this maybe by 1 would probably be the best bet, because Golden Droplets first effect is not that good. Allowing your opponent to draw a card and then banish a couple of cards is not worth it at all. But overall, I would just bump up one of these if you really want to see more Runics. Then lastly, the card that I played for going second and board breaking, Evenly. This card was insane. There was a Kashtira p.u.n.k match at the Vegas Regional that he had a Barone, another card, a Photon Monster Negate or whatever, level 8 rank. I activated Evenly, he goes Barone, I go activate Evenly. He keeps the Monster Negate, and then I activate Flashing Fire to get rid of his Photon Monster, which then broke the entire board, and I made for game. Moving into the extra deck, for the Naturia monsters, we are playing 1 Barkion, 1 Beast. There's no reason to play more than this, there's no reason to play any other Naturia monsters. These 2 are the best. Only ones that you need to play. Most times you're making Beast anyways. Barkion is just there for Trap Tricks and Labyrinth, but sometimes you just need the 6. There's been times I summon this, a Camilla back, and I make a 10, which also gives you a Mole Cricket on field, and that's just one way to make Changing or Barone. But for the Runic cards, I am playing 2 Hugin, 2 Gary, and 1 Munin. Munin is either for time, or if your opponent's playing like Cosmic Cyclones, you'll just summon it so that way they can't get rid of your fountain, and then you can negate the effect, and then they burned 1,000 life points. Gary is such an amazing chain blocker that when you want to draw off a Runic Fountain, you can not only draw 3 off a Runic Fountain, but you can also gain a Fountain back, and Fountain is not once per turn. Hugin is just your terraforming of it. It's also a destruction protection, so it's really not bad to play. It is also a level 2, which allows you to make a level 6 with the Camilla, so that's another reason why you play it. It's the main Runic, so there's no reason not to play it. Then we are playing 1 Donner. Donner is great spot removal. This card did wonders. I was able to get rid of so many cards with it. When I needed it, it worked. When I didn't need it, it was there. Really can't complain about that. Then I played 1 Baguska and 1 Exciton Knight. There was a lot of games I didn't get to summon Exciton Knight if I was like down because 1, they need more cards than you. But this would be like if I drew off of Runics and I was doing really well, and like, you know, I would have more cards than them. So I would never really summon this too much. Baguska actually won me a few games. There was a game that I summoned this because my opponent had a Psychic and Punisher, and I couldn't break it, so I needed to wait. And so I just summoned Baguska, and they were like, we can go game 2, I want to save time. Because they know I would probably outgrind them by the time I drew a couple more cards. So Baguska really got in there. For level 6 synchros, we are playing Charge Warrior and Coral Dragon. Coral Dragon is a tuner level 6, so combined with Gary, it allows you to make a 10. Charge Warrior, it allows you to draw before you synchro, so really you're kind of just choosing between what you want to do. But there was turn 1s where I would summon Coral Dragon and just go into a 10, which allowed me to use a Camilla and a Mole Cricket to also go for Beast, which means that I have a Beast, a Naturia Beast, and a Mole Cricket, which is a really good field and almost unbreakable field. Then I was playing 1 Changing and 1 Barone. I made this against a Kashtira player, and I controlled the game with Runics, and I was just banishing stuff from him. There wasn't much he could do because I was just controlling the game so heavily that he ended up scooping to a 5,500 attack changing. That's pretty huge. Then the real-time card, I played Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. This card, I only needed it once, and it Generally, it would have been fine had that player not summoned the red resonator, targeted a Gigantic with a Link monster underneath it, which made them gain 3,200 life points. Yeah, basically, I only would have burned for 1,500, and that's only about half the damage that I would need, so I wouldn't have won there anyways. For the side, I am playing 3 Ash Blossom, 1 Curry Divine Carnate. I will be taking this out. I think maining the 2 is the best form that you need. You don't need a third. If you don't see it, you don't see it, but you're going to draw so much that you're probably going to see it anyways, so there's no really need to side it. But that's also because I'm siding the 2 Nibiru's. Nibiru is just here in case I see my opponent is really going for like the Kashtira lock, or I see decks like Sprite, or just anything that I think they might try to go into a 5th summon without being able to stop this. I'm gonna side this. Then I sided 1 Called by the Grave. I will be taking this out. Never one-sided it. Never once needed it. Don't know why I played it. In theory, it's good. Just didn't do anything for me. Then I sided 3 Dark Ruler No Mores. Dark Ruler No More is one of those cards that, like, even when you don't see it and you're in a situation that you don't need it, you're kind of happy that it's just there, because if you do actually end up needing it, you'd rather have it than not. I don't really have anything bad to say about this card. I just didn't get to utilize it as much as I wanted to, but that's okay. That's what you side cards for. You want to be prepared, not underprepared. Then I sided 3 Dimensional Barriers. I don't really like this card in this deck, because a lot of times that you're siding this, it's either against like another Synchro deck, you're siding this against like Drytron or something. I generally don't side it against Kashtira, because even though I can hit them for Exceeds, them having more board of just Kashtira monsters is almost sometimes more fearful than them just setting or summoning a Rise Heart and passing. I think I will be taking this out for the future. Then the last but not least, the last 2 cards that I sided was Grave of the Super Ancient Organism. This card is amazing against Kashtira, against Branded, against just about any deck that summons a level 6 or higher monster, Sword Soul. So it is super good. It just, you know, I'd probably bump it up to 3. And with that being said, that was my YCS LA and Vegas regional deck profile. I will potentially update this deck profile some more. I'm gonna probably keep playing this deck because I'm really enjoying it. I'm loving Runics. I just think it's the better version of any Runic deck out there right now, which is why I chose the Naturia Runic version. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That way I know how I'm doing, and go ahead and post what changes you think you might make, but I'll catch you on the next one.